My 22 girlfriend cheated on me 25 with her ex-boyfriend, got pregnant, and made me believe the child was mine. I, 25R, M, got cheated on by my 22A old girlfriend with her ex-boyfriend, and she made me believe the baby she was carrying was mine. There's a lot of events that preceded the said event of me being made to believe I was going to be a father. I met this girl about a year and 6 months ago. The Rawship kicked off nicely. She was a nice girl, at least I thought, and she was very pretty too. Our relationship was smooth sailing in the beginning, although we had issues here and there like any other couple. She was staying about 30-40 minutes from my place. I am already a young professional who has already finished school and kickstarting his career. She was in the course of completing her studies in a local university in the same town. So this meant she was staying at a student accommodation residence, as they call it. You will remember how that setting is during our college life when students would do all sorts of nasty things to each other when they are all under the same roof. I did not have a problem with this, as she would visit me regularly, almost every weekends most of the time. Things took a turn of the worst when the visits started becoming less frequent, and she would always claim she is busy or whatever silly excuse she had at the time. I didn't want to be selfish and want to have her all to myself with the little time she has to herself, considering she was a student and most of her time outside of school she would spend with me. That was my mistake. The visits became less frequent, and this bothered me as time went by because I had suspicions she was starting to spend time with somebody else. However, I didn't think too much into it, as I thought, oh no, she is an innocent girl and would never for whatever reason do such a thing to me given how good our relationship was. Wrong. I later discovered that she had been secretly meeting up with one of the ex-boyfriends who goes to the same college as her. How I found out would need me to write another Reddit story. I confronted her about it, and she had no choice but to admit it as I presented her with an overwhelming amount of evidence proving the fact. At this point, I also found out they have slept together, and I just wanted to know why. Why did she betray my trust like that, and what led her to the said incident, as I have been nothing but good to her? She insisted she was in a bad space and needed someone to talk to, and one thing led to the other, and she was sorry. She told me she would understand if I cannot forgive her of this act, as she is fully aware how wrong of her that was, and she would understand if I want nothing to do with her. I should have listened. I should have listened to her then. Because what is about to follow is a series of events that led to her making me believe the child she was carrying was mine. We talked things out, and she apologized, and I had fully forgiven her for this, as she was sincere and sorry about what she did. Fast forward to 3 months later, we find out she is pregnant. Surprise! At this time, she had told me that she had cut all communication with her ex-boyfriend, and they weren't in contact in any way. I later discovered that she told him about the pregnancy. However, did not tell him that she was actually in a relationship and there is a potential father of this child, as she already knew what she had done. I confronted her about this, and she confessed that she contacted him, yes, but her reasons were that she wanted him to back off so that she can continue living her life with me, who is the father of her child and partner. I gave her the benefit of the doubt. I will now fast forward to when the baby was born, and I went to visit them soon, weeks after she went to labor. I spent time with them, and everything was nice. We were happy that we were having a baby, and I was super excited of the idea that I am now a father. There were conversations preceding her going into labor between us pertaining the paternity of the baby, and I explicitly asked her, "Is there by any chance I am not the father of this baby?" She reassured me that I am the father and I should not be worried about me not fathering the child. Also, I was not about to question a heavily pregnant woman about the paternity of what could potentially be our baby. That made me feel horrible, and I stopped questioning her about this. Coming back to when the baby was born. 2 months after the baby was born, I later discovered that she had again rekindled her relationship with the said ex-boyfriend, and she was bringing the child for him to see behind my back. Mind you, this guy does not know that there is already an existing father of this baby. At this point, I catch her out in the act, and her whole lie is unrevealed. We fight over this and I request a DNA test done so we can finish this and rule out any uncertainty. We continue to be a couple and raise the baby together. However, I told her it was only fair for the other alleged father to also contribute towards the maintenance of the child until all facts are on the table, as I had been the one supporting them throughout her pregnancy and postpartum. This happens for a period of about 2 months before the DNA test is done. Early this year, the results came out saying, I am not the father of this child. I am distraught, to say the least. I am disappointed in myself and for putting so much trust in one person who did nothing but break it and my heart into pieces. I have since kicked them out of my place with her child and told them they can go live their happy lives with their newly found family. To be honest, this hurts me so much. I don't go a day without thinking about them. I have already formed a solid bond with what was to be my child, not to mention my said ex-girlfriend. All the life I knew and was preparing myself for is all gone now. I'm miserable at... Story 2. Found out my wife of 10 years was cheating. Early days. Pretty rough. Hi all. Ow. I never thought I'd be posting about this. I, mid-38, found out Tuesday this week my wife, F38, has been having an affair. I found out by going through one of the kids' wife's iPads. I knew the code because my kids play on there. It was pretty graphic and it shake just thinking about it. It was a friend of hers, which I had previously concerns about. I had been open and honest about my feelings and worries, because I had a similar thing happen when I was 24 with a girl I was engaged with. She always found a way to make it better, to reassure me that it would never happen, but it has, and it's torn out my heart. I feel like I have been crying for 3 days solid. I have been through so many emotions already, and I hurt almost constantly. To boot, I helped my wife get bariatric surgery last December, so she has lost a lot of weight, and the guy she cheated with has a thing for married women. My alarm bells have been going off for a while. I know this is the start of the journey. I have reached out to professionals and friends already. I have already been to 2 counseling sessions, spending time with friends, trying to cope, trying to just keep the basics ticking over. Luckily, or unluckily, my wife is away for a wedding with one of my sons. I didn't really want to stop her going because then it was like punishment. She came clean with her family pretty quick because my son was concerned about my crying and told them he was... I don't know yet if it's over. We have talked a lot. She tried to put the blame on me already, like it was something I made possible, even when lately our relationship has actually been pretty awesome, or so I thought, but she wants to work through. She keeps telling me she does. Because it happened to me once years ago. She left me for another man at that time. It was the one thing I said I would never tolerate, and her I am, somehow tolerating it. We have kids, a house, plans together. And now it's up in the air and I don't know. I am absolutely devastated. I hurt, I cry, and I know it will take time. Thank you for reading, at least. It was nice to get it out, very briefly. Edit. I should be clear. My fiancé never went anywhere. 5-year relationship terminated circa 2007. I married my wife in 2011, who I have been with a long time now. Trust is big in our relationship. Lol, he says that now. Story 3. My ex is better off than me. Yeah, I was cheated on for a couple years. Oh, well. My fault for ignoring her red flags. I broke up with her and have since then moved a state away and have been working towards my career and bettering myself. I thought I was healing nicely, but I just end up coming back on here to sulk. I guess the men or trash party she had the night of us breaking up wasn't enough to get me in check and realize I had my first experience with narcissism. She's currently dating one of my friends, is having fun, slowly taking away each of my friends, and meanwhile I've been struggling. It really wouldn't be a problem, but I'm from a smallish town, so their names occasionally come up in conversations with my friend. I'm blocked by her on everything, and I unfollowed the friend who dates her now just cause I can't bear the idea that karma really doesn't exist. I work every day of the week nearly. I don't have time or money to go out often as I have bills to pay. As time goes by, I realize that I'll be dealing with the consequences of harmful actions of another while they suffer happiness. I'll continue to lose friends and sink lower than I have been. Today, I realized that I don't want to date again. I have no desire to get married or raise kids. It takes a brave person to want to do that after having their reality shattered, so power to every one of y'all who gets back into it. I just don't see myself being that person and am fine with that. Story 4. My wife, 32, has been taking a lot of business trips away from me, 34, and our daughter. Last year, my wife was promoted as the manager of the clothing company she works at. This promotion includes supervising photo shoots, managing ad campaigns, and taking business trips to visit senior management to update them on her progress. These business trips have been becoming more and more frequent. The odd thing that I have noticed is that the farther apart our bond becomes, the more business trips she takes. I am becoming suspicious. She often talks about one particular member of senior management. I have met this man a couple of times at company Christmas parties, and he is a large, imposing figure. He has a big role in who gets promoted, so she tries to work her magic on him. It gets really bad when she drinks. She has told me about her wild college days and all the men she slept with when she was plastered. They both seemed very close, too close. Guess what? He is on all of these business trips. Turns out, he has a lot of the qualities that she nags to me about not having. He is a big spender, while I live a frugal lifestyle. He is carefree, while I am pretty uptight. She seems attracted to these qualities. My wife accidentally let it slip in conversation that he has slept with over 100 women. She did not sound disgusted by this. She sounded almost impressed. I have only slept with my wife. It felt personal. Once she got promoted, the intimacy in our marriage died. She claims it has something to do with how many hours she works. I have been taking more of a caretaker role now that she out-earns me by a significant margin. It has made me feel emasculated. When the intimacy died, she put a password onto her phone. I know, a bad sign when the marriage begins to falter. She would stay up late texting Monica from her work. I knew this was a lie. Why would she need to talk to Monica in a hushed voice at 1 a.m.? I pretended to sleep and listened in on one of her conversations with Monica, and she was talking about how she couldn't wait to see you. I had evidence, but I needed conclusive proof. I had a feeling the upcoming weekend trip was a farce. This would be my chance. She said that she was heading to downtown Chicago to go to a conference. I put a tracker in her car to see if this was true. The weekend began, and she left me with our 4-year-old daughter, but she didn't go to Chicago. I saw that the GP's signal was dinging to a neighborhood in Fort Atkinson, Wisconsin, the exact place her boss lived. My wife lied to me and is probably cheating on me with her boss. I want to divorce her, but I don't want my daughter to grow up in a broken home. I grew up with divorced parents, and it was traumatizing. What do I do? Is counseling the answer? Story 5. My girlfriend sent S-time videos of US to her exes. I, 27, have been dating my girlfriend, F25, for nearly 4 years now, with a large chunk of it long distance. In that time, it has been the best, most fulfilling relationship I've ever had, and I have never been so happy. As far as I knew, it was also the same for her. A bit of background: when we first started dating, I was visiting her at uni for the first time when we ran into this guy. I could immediately tell from the awkward vibe that there was history between them both, and when I questioned her later, she admitted that they had been duck buddies before we met. Now, this guy was studying the same course as her, and she told me they do still message each other, but only about course-related stuff. I was a little uncomfortable with this, but I didn't want to be the kind of boyfriend to tell her who she can and can't speak to. So while I did tell her how I felt about it, I didn't tell her to stop talking to him or anything like that, and trusted her to know where the line was. Now, fast forward to last week, we have 3.5 amazing years behind us. There were some rough patches when we were long distance, but we got through it, and we're finally about to close the gap. I am spending time with her at her parents' house when I get an anonymous text from someone. I didn't know who they were, but they knew me and my girlfriend. They told me that they were dating somebody called Ryan, who was my girlfriend's ex, and she found out they were texting each other behind her back, and she wanted to let me know as well. Then she sent me a video. I recognized the thumbnail immediately. It was a video that me and my girlfriend had made of her giving me a B-job. I have never sent any or even shown any of our videos to anybody so it must have come from her. I felt sick straight away and deleted these messages and blocked the number. Not sure why. I think it was a reflex because I didn't want to see that poop. I didn't confront my girlfriend straight away because I didn't want to make a scene in front of her parents, but all three of them could tell something was up. Eventually, my girlfriend got me alone and I told her about receiving the texts and the video and asked her if it was true. She admitted she did send it. Then she asked me if it was Luke's girlfriend that sent me the messages. I didn't let on that it wasn't but allowed her to continue. I listened to her lie to me and assure me he is the only person she ever sent the video to. She said she was so sorry and it was a one-time mistake. I let her dig this hole even deeper until I eventually told her the anonymous texter had told me the ex was called Ryan. She spent a good while computing this information and eventually admitted she had sent to him too. She told me Ryan was an old summer fling from before we met that she still kept in touch with. She said they usually just update their lives to each other, but that one time they did stime. I knew she was still not telling me everything. I didn't believe anything that came out of her mouth at this point, so I kept pressing her to tell me. Eventually, she admitted the sending of our S-Time video to both of them was the worst thing she did, but Ryan had also sent her deep pics the same night after she had requested it, and that she sent the video to Luke after he sent a set-time tape of his girlfriend first. Once again, she assured me that was everything. Something in my head told me it was pretty convenient that everything she's supposedly done just so happens to be everything that I've found out for myself. She allowed me to go through her phone, and I asked her to tell me now if there's anything else, but she now started saying she can't remember. Now, when I looked through the messages with Ryan, it did indeed look like the D-Peaks and S-Time video were the worst of it, and the majority of the time it was just talk about life. But occasionally, the conversation got a bit more heated and estimual. She had sent a couple of bikini pictures, and it certainly looked like she was instigating most of the S-Timey talk. With Luke, however, she had deleted the chats around August last year, supposedly after feeling bad for sending the video. So I only had what was sent since then, which was mostly just her asking for advice on an upcoming exam, but with him repeatedly trying to turn the conversation S-Timual and her not exactly shutting him down. I also found 10 other chats since we have been dating where she has been texting dirty messages to random guys. As far as I know, she hasn't sent them any nudes or videos. However, there is a stream of photos sent to one guy that I can't see, the ones that only let you view once. This one, in particular, crushed me because when I looked at the date, it was on my birthday. Literally an hour after these photos were sent, she's messaging me to wish me happy birthday like nothing happened. She's telling me they were just selfies, 14 of them. But that is impossible to believe at this point. Over the last few days, we've had long talks about all this in between having to pretend everything is fine in front of her family. From what I've gathered, this seems to be a kink for her. She enjoys teasing these men and getting attention from them, knowing that they'll never actually get anything from her. She says that the chats never meant anything to her, and she didn't believe it would constitute cheating. She promises me that nothing physical happened with any of them ever, and I kinda do believe this, even though I'm sure I shouldn't. She told me that she decided several months ago to completely stop doing it, and it does look like she did stop around 7 months ago, but that doesn't really make me feel any better. I am completely crushed. The woman who I thought I knew and thought I would marry has been repeatedly lying to me and emotionally cheating on me behind my back. I think I know what everyone here is going to tell me, but is there any way this relationship has a future? Should I give her another chance? I'm so confused and my mind is not making any sense right now that I need random internet strangers to confirm what I'm not crazy. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. Dude, no, hard no, hell no. She's S-timing people she's had S-time with in the past. She did it repeatedly with many guys for a long time. It includes pictures and videos. On request, she tried to trickle truth you, meaning she lied and lied again when confronted. From your description, she defended and tried to rationalize her actions. If it didn't constitute cheating, why did she hide it? Why did she hide it? Why did she lie repeatedly when confronted? There's no salvaging this. Move on. Redditor follow-up. This She also violated you by sending a S-time tape of you out. She is not a worthwhile partner. She is not a worthwhile partner. She is poison. There are insanely better women in the world. Redditor 2. You're probably right about what most people on this sub will tell you, and they've got a point. From the sounds of things, you are mostly thinking right now about the cheating and dishonest aspect of all this. Alone, that is enough to break up with someone, but also could be forgiven if you felt like it was worth it and you trusted her reasons, excuses, and that you still trusted her. I think the bigger issue, and one that maybe or maybe not you have actually deeped, is that she has completely violated your privacy and consent to. Sending S-time tapes without consent is illegal and awful. Have a think on if you want to be with someone who doesn't value your consent and then come back to all this. Answer. Yes, I did point that out to her as well. I had too much information to put down here and missed that part out. Even if she had sent that to a friend and not someone she has estimual history with, I would have felt violated. Redditor 3. I'm not saying this to be mean, but please have some self-respect. She will never respect you, and people in your life will lose respect for you if you don't stand up for yourself right now. It's going to be the hardest thing you have ever had to do, and it will suck a lot. You just need to do it for you, for your happiness. You aren't ever going to be happy with her again. Good luck. Redditor 4. No more chances. Break up. This is a kink of hers. She can quit, but she will get the urge again, and it's a boundary for you that should not be crossed. Her best hope is to find someone who doesn't mind and doesn't see it as cheating. Someone who does it also. Redditor 5. 1. Run and never look back. 2. Somehow find and thank that girl who made you aware. 3. Get STI tested. Need I say more?